5 years after my death, a group of paranormal streamers woke me up. They had found my phone. The live stream chat went wild.
Turn it on.
Maybe that evil spirit Caleb mentioned is actually hot. They powered up the device, revealing my photo on the lock screen. Jackpot. It's just that bitch who stole her own mother's heirloom to pay for male escorts. Next, the streamers discovered my remains. One of them grabbed the handle of the dagger that was still lodged in my skull. She got what she deserved. Honestly, I would have stabbed her myself. Caleb, why don't you crush her bones and scatter the ashes? Do everyone a favor. Caleb Nelson looked right into the camera lens. Don't worry. I guarantee everyone will be satisfied. My death became their entertainment, an outlet for their rage. They decided to broadcast every video found on my phone. Tris, someone found your sister, Felicia. It's on live stream. Everyone in the room turned to look at Tristan read. Tristan's hand froze on his wine glass, his eyes cold. She's a dead body to me, he said. She is physically dead. His friend handed him the phone. The comments are calling for her bones to be crushed and her ashes scattered. It looks like she was murdered, stabbed right through the skull with a dagger. Without hesitation, Tristan replied, she deserved it. She'd rather live on the street than apologize to Esme. And as for my mother's heirloom, she refused to tell the hidden place. She took that secret to her grave. Sitting beside him, Esmeralda hardly clung to his arm, looking wounded. Tris, please don't be angry. It's all my fault for ruining the brother-sisterhood between you and Feli. Tears started dripping down her face instantly. It's all my fault. She's your sister by blood. I'm just the adopted one. I didn't deserve taking over her place. Tristan held her tighter. Everything is settled now. But Feli is gone. We can't let those people desecrate her remains. We should bury her properly. After telling her she was too kind, Tristan made a call, sounding annoyed as he ordered his secretary to handle it. The live caught his attention again. Inside the abandoned cabin, Caleb and his friends continued their search. It was a small space, but they turned it upside down. They even cracked open my suitcase. Inside, there were only 2 sets of rotting clothes, some cheap skincare products, and a family photo that I had wrapped tight with extreme care. She doesn't look like a rich girl. You forgot. She was kicked out of her family for bullying her sister. She is struggling with living. How could she afford anything nicer? Even in this photo she treasured so much, the sister's face is missing. That's some serious hatred. Just then, one of them held up my phone and shouted, "Guys, I've unlocked it." The chats on live went crazy. Great. Hurry up and see what that bitch was hiding. She was so evil. Who knows what kind of filth she filmed. Desperate for views, the streamers were more than happy to snooze around. The first thing they did was open the photo gallery. Back in the room, Esmeralda clutched Tristan's arm. Tris, we can't let them just go through Feli's phone like that. It's her privacy. Her eyes were wide with anxiety. Just then, Tristan's phone rang. I heard they found that wretched girl's remains. Even after dying out there, she won't give us peace. I stopped seeing her as my daughter years ago. Make sure you comfort Esme. She used to shake and have nightmares just hearing Felicia's name. Dad's words mirrored Tristan's thoughts. Tristan promised he would handle it and hung up. Back on the live stream, they found a medical report in my photo gallery. There is justice in this world. This bitch had stomach cancer. The guy who killed her must be pissed off. She would have been tortured to death by cancer, but instead, he ended her suffer. Checked the date. The diagnosis came the same day as Tristan cut ties with Felicia. Perfect. She must be broken down completely after 2 shots. The venomous comments continued to flood the screen. Yet I felt no pain. Those strangers aren't the ones hurting me the most. The whole world still disgrace my reputation after I'm dead. Soon, they clicked on the video folder. To build the suspense, they said, let's go through these one by one. Starting from the oldest. Someone pressed play. It was a video for my 10th birthday. Mom was still alive then, putting her favorite diamond necklace around my neck. Feli, my mother gave this to me. Now I'm giving it to you. I hope you have a safe, happy life. She hugged me while Tristan stood nearby. Dad smiling while recording. We took a selfie in front of the gigantic birthday cake. I kept it for years. It is the only family picture I've got. I was running and laughing freely, while Tristan calling me to don't trip. Mom and Dad holding hands together, smiling. I spoke directly into the cam. This book had been added on your bookshelf. I hope I can spend every birthday with Mom, Dad, and my best brother Tris. 13-year. Old Tristan nodded beside me. I promise your wish will come true, little princess. Back in the private room, someone projected the video onto the TV. Everyone watched the footage of that birthday celebration. After all, a lot of them had actually been at that party. Who would have thought? That sweet little girl who used to follow Tris everywhere grew up such a disappointment. She was so stubborn. If she'd just apologized to Tris, everything would have been fine. Tris was harsh, though, kicking her out over a single necklace. You don't get it. Tris' mom died saving Feli and Esme. Tris wouldn't care if Feli burned the family business to the ground, but he couldn't stand her selling their mother's heirloom. Tristan sat on the sofa, silent. Since the day he kicked me out, he had become gloomy. He vowed to himself to spoiling his only sister, Esmeralda. Whatever I used to have, Esmeralda had it for now. If I wanted something, he gave her double. Maybe he wanted to piss me off, or maybe he wanted revenge. Every time I saw news about Tristan dropping a fortune on Esmeralda, I felt nothing. We used to be such a happy family. But after we adopted Esmeralda, everything changed. Tristan seemed to drifted back to the old times, but Esmeralda quickly cut in. Tris, it's all my fault. If you hadn't adopted me, Feli wouldn't be upset, and Mom wouldn't have died. Mom died saving you both. Feli was the ungrateful one for doing something like that. The look of longing in this book had been added on your bookshelf. It's just a pity that we never found Mom's necklace. Esmeralda shifted her gaze. I actually hired a craftsman to make a replica. Maybe Feli had an emergency and really needed the money. I checked, Tristan scoffed. She spent the money on Playboys. He frowned, murmuring a few words to comfort Esmeralda before shouting, She sold our mother's heirloom to pay for men. She doesn't deserve to be my sister. A friend nearby quickly tried to calm him down. Forget it. She's dead anyway. Like the comment said, she got what she deserved. I wonder who killed her, someone mused. Yeah, no wonder there hasn't been any news about her all these years. Tris, if she'd come back to you, would you have paid for her medical treatment? The screen was pitch black, but the audio was a chaotic mess of noise and the sickening sound of repeated impacts. It was the day of the accident. Mom was driving Esmeralda and me to the amusement park. I'd fallen asleep in the back seat, only waking up when I heard Mom shout, Esme, stop it. I'd always felt something was off about Esmeralda since the adoption. Every time she opened her mouth, I ended up getting punished, with everyone looking at me like I was the problem. That was why I'd secretly bought a button camera to record my day-to-day life. I was extra careful whenever Esmeralda was around. These were Mom's final moments. I'd never worked up the courage to watch the footage, only transferring it to my phone for safekeeping. This was the first time I was seeing it just like everyone else. On screen, Esmeralda suddenly lunged for the steering wheel. Mom, I don't want to go back to the orphanage. The car spun out of control, crashing over and over. Mom, in the driver's seat, took the brunt of it. She kept calling my name. I dragged myself over to her. With her last ounce of strength, Mom gave me her instructions. Feli, you have to live, protect Tris, and tell your father to send Esmeralda away. Do you hear me? When the police arrived, they covered her with a white sheet. Esmeralda cried harder than anyone. Dad and Tristan picked us up at the station. When they asked about Mom's final words, I didn't hesitate. I told them she wanted Esmeralda sent away. Esmeralda immediately started wailing. She screamed for Dad and Tristan, begging them not to send her away. Then a hand struck my face. Felicia, it's bad enough you mistreat Esme, but now you're faking Mom's dying wish? Mom loved you both. She would never send her away. Stop lying. Tears stung my eyes. Dad, Tris, Please believe me. I'm not lying. I tried to tell them I had a recording of the whole thing, but they were already hugging Esmeralda and walking away. Caleb and the others went silent. Wait, she's just a kid, and she killed someone? She killed her adoptive mother just to avoid being sent away? She's no better than Felicia. This feels like one of those soap operas where the adopted daughter gets jealous of the biological one. She ruins everything, turns the family against the real daughter, and takes her place. That seems extreme. Esmeralda looks innocent. Maybe she was just scared and didn't realize grabbing the wheel would cause a crash. Tristan stared at the live stream, then turned to Esmeralda in shock. You killed Mom? She was so good to you. How could you do that? So Feli was telling the truth that day. Tell me, why was Mom sending you back to the orphanage? Tristan was furious. Mom was the most important person in the world to him. He remembered the crash site, seeing us covered in blood. He had even promised Mom he would take care of both his sisters. And now one sister was dead, and the other was the killer who killed his mom. Esmeralda panicked and dropped to her knees in front of Tristan. Tris, I was just so scared. Mom found out I blamed Feli for breaking Dad's favorite vase, and she said she was sending me back. I just wanted the car to stop. I didn't know it would end like that. I've been trying to make up for it for years. Please, Tris, I know I was wrong. But Tristan couldn't stop thinking about Mom lying in a pool of blood, giving her final instructions. Protect Tristan. Send Esmeralda away. Just then, my fiancé, Jason Gill, stepped up to defend her again. Tris, Esme made a mistake, but she was young and didn't know better. Let it go. She's still the sister you've loved for years. If your mother hadn't threatened to send her away, she wouldn't have panicked. She lied about the vase because she was terrified of losing her home. Besides, all you did was make Felicia kneel for a few days. It wasn't that harsh of a punishment. Tristan sighed heavily. Even if Felicia had been wrongfully accused, did Mom really need to take such drastic action against Esmeralda? Sending an adopted child back over something so small seemed excessive. Mom had too far. Stop crying. This isn't entirely your fault. Tris, you know I always listen to you. Esmeralda let out a breath of relief. She had survived this. She secretly messaged someone.
Gone.
Why aren't you here yet? If they keep playing this video, our secret is going to come out. But the big screen was still playing. Jason noticed Esmeralda's tension and whispered, Don't worry.
She's dead.
I won't let her hurt you again. But she's your fiancé. At that, even Tristan glanced at Jason. The viewer comments he'd just seen about the adopted daughter framing the biological one to drive her out stuck in his mind. But his sweet, sensible little sister couldn't possibly do something so vicious. The commenters had to be making it up. Enough, Tristan said. I want to see what else is on that phone. The third video began to play. Tell me, Esmeralda said, wearing a mocking smile. If I fell into this pool right now, do you think Jace would believe you or me? Look at what a failure your life is, she continued. No one trusts you. No one wants to help you. If I were you, I'd just kill myself. I looked utterly hopeless on the screen, asking in confusion. What exactly do you want? You've already taken Dad and Tristan from me. Now my fiancé, even if it is in name only, wants to end our engagement just to marry you. What more could you possibly want? Esmeralda's eyes went wide, her expression managing to look innocent and cruel at the same
time.
As long as you're around, the biological daughter, I'll never feel safe. I need them to hate you. I need them to treat you like dirt, to want you dead. I won't be at peace until you're gone. Why did you get to be born a wealthy heiress with a perfect life, while I was thrown in a trash can in the middle of winter? If a street cleaner hadn't walked by and found me, I would have frozen to death. Life in the orphanage was hell. Rich people would come by just to drop off a few things. We had to pose for photos and act grateful, and they just used us as props to lecture their own kids of how good they had it. A feral look crossed Esmeralda's face. And then there was you. The day I saw you standing there in that beautiful princess dress, I didn't just want it, I wanted to take your place. Shock washed over my face. So you played me on purpose. You tricked me into bringing you to my mom, then cried until she softened up enough to adopt you. Exactly. The moment the word left her mouth, she grabbed my hand and started screaming. Feli, I promise I'll stay away from Jace. Please don't. Then, she threw herself into the water. Jason rushed over and shoved me into the pool without a second thought. He hauled Esmeralda out, looking heartbroken for her. My miniature camera caught every second of them clinging to each other. Afterward, Jason went straight to Tristan to complain. I can't handle a psycho like Felicia, who would dare to hurt her own sister. I'm ending the engagement immediately. Since this is a marriage alliance between our families, marrying Esme serves the same purpose. I had been terrified of water ever since someone pushed me into a lake when I was 12. I nearly drowned in that pool, but when I opened my eyes, I didn't see concern. Only Tristan's scolding face. Your engagement with the Gills is cancelled. If you pull something vicious like this again, I'm shipping you overseas. Everyone watching the video fell silent. Wait, everyone said Felicia was the vicious one. Looks to me like Esmeralda is just as bad. If that were me, I would feel so incredibly wronged. Her own brother and fiancé are blind to what she's been through. Did you hear what she said? She just wants to replace Felicia and take the whole Reed family fortune. That's brutal. No wonder she became a top actress. I used to think her playing the manipulative innocent girl or the villain was just talent, but turns out she was just playing herself. Wait, does Tristan know the truth now? Does he realize he's been helping his malicious adopted sister abuse his biological sister all these years? Even if Esmeralda is trash, Felicia isn't innocent either. Don't forget, she sold her own mother's heirloom to pay for male escorts. Standing in front of the screen, Tristan clenched his fists. Everyone stole glances at him and Jason. Tris, come on, you know how vicious Felicia is. She probably faked those videos. Jason was getting anxious at Tristan's silence and jumped to Esmeralda's defense again. We watched Esme grow up. She's so fragile and kind-hearted. How could she possibly do something that cruel? It has to be Felicia. She can't stand seeing us happy. Tristan's expression was dark. Shut up. His gaze landed on Esmeralda. Did she actually push you, or did you frame her? Jason was beside himself. Are you doubting Esme now? I knew it. Deep down, no matter how good Esme is, she'll never compare to your vicious biological sister, Felicia. I am speaking to her. Tristan didn't want to believe that the sister he had doted on for years could be the person in the video. I don't know. Tris, I really didn't hurt Feli. Tristan made a non-committal sound and didn't question her further. Jason let out a sigh of relief. I knew it. You wouldn't believe Feli. The clips that followed were mostly recordings of my own design concepts. Yet, somehow, Esmeralda had claimed credit for every single one of them. After getting kicked out of the company, I tried to prove my worth, but I was rejected at every turn. They all told me the same thing. Tristan had blacklisted me. No one dared to hire me. Desperate to survive, I resorted to scavenging for cans and bottles. When Tristan finally called, he didn't offer help, just an ultimatum. Just apologize to Esme. Admit you stole her drafts, and I'll ask Dad to let you come home. The Reed family has enough money to support you forever. Why do you insist on making such a spectacle of yourself? Esmeralda stole from me. I screamed back. Why won't you believe me? You're still just as stubborn. Clearly, you haven't learned your lesson. From that day on, my life became a living hell. Even when I was just out collecting bottles, people would snatch my bag and dump the contents on the ground. Then, they'd film me as I scrambled to pick them up, looking pathetic. Well, look who it is, they sneered. The Reed family heiress, stealing from beggars now. That's what you get for bullying Esme. You deserve this. Then the beating started. A kind stranger chased them off once and tried to take me to the hospital, but I refused. Instead, he pressed a $20 bill into my hand and told me everyone fell on hard times and to not lose hope. Covered in blood and dressed in rags, I looked terrifying. No one else dared to approach me. I just clutched the diamond necklace Mom had given me and wept. Mom, I don't know if there's any point to me wearing this camera every day, recording all this abuse and humiliation. Even if someone sees this, they'll probably just think it's fake. I've stopped hoping anyone will believe me. Caleb took a deep breath, his hand trembling as he gripped his phone. I believe her. The others around him watched, their eyes red-rimmed. That was horrific. The livestream comments began to scroll frantically again. I always thought it was weird how Esmeralda could act and work as a designer at the same time, all while constantly preaching to her fans about life and taking their money. Turns out she was just stealing Felicia's talent all along. Esmeralda's such a bitch. Impossible. Esme isn't that evil. Felicia faked all of this. Exactly. Felicia is just jealous of Esme. Why else would her own father and brother disown her? There's definitely something wrong with her. Tristan stood there, lost in thought. He dialed his secretary, and the voice on the other end sounded breathless. Mr. Reed, I've arrived at the broadcast location. It's incredibly remote. It took me ages to find it. But a crowd has already gathered. And I think I just saw Ms. Harley's cousin. Tristan dismissed the comment, focusing on his instructions. Get the phone. We need to verify the footage is real. I don't think I can, sir. The viewers are demanding on-site verification. Then make arrangements for our staff to participate. Tristan's gaze landed on Esmeralda. Why do you look so panicked? I'm not. Esmeralda put on an ingratiating smile, the same innocent look she always used when she made a mistake. Tris, even if Felicia is struggling, it doesn't change the fact that she sold your mother's diamond necklace. Tristan, who had begun to doubt Esmeralda, felt his anger reignite. He had easily forgiven Esmeralda even when he learned she was responsible for his mother's death, yet he could not get over the loss of the heirloom. Did I ever say I would forgive her? The video on the phone had played through most of the footage. It was mostly trivial incidents. Until the recording reached that day. I was drugged and thrown into a private room. This was the footage I had never dared to watch. It turned out Esmeralda had paid a visit while I was out cold, bringing a group of men into the room with her. Do whatever you want with her, she told them. And when you're done, tell everyone she sold a diamond necklace to pay for your services. You got it, Miss Harley. The men leered as they moved toward me. Esmeralda stepped out, locking the door from the outside with a heavy thud. She looked delighted. When the door flew open again, Tristan stormed in, screaming. He uncapped a water bottle and splashed it right in my face. Felicia, do you have no shame? Just because Jason called off the engagement, you run out here to sleep around? Do you have any idea how much money the company lost because the news is reporting you're partying with male escorts? I stopped expecting you to be sensible like Esme ages ago, but could you at least stop causing trouble? Esmeralda ran in right on cue, clinging to Tristan's arm. Tris, stop, this is my fault. Don't blame Feli. If those men make her happy, then that's fine. It's just weird. Feli was digging through trash on the street just a little while ago. Where did she suddenly get the cash to spend here? She covered her mouth, feigning shock. Feli, I didn't mean to imply you got the money illegally. Please don't misunderstand. I was still dazed and had no idea what was going on other than the fact that I was being screamed at. But when I saw that smug look on Esmeralda's face, I knew she was setting me up again. What are you accusing me of this time? I asked. Tristan slapped me. Stop trying to frame Esme. You're so desperate to humiliate me that you'd even pick through garbage in public? You've really gone to great lengths to force us to send Esme away. Well, I'm telling you now. Esme is staying, and I'm giving her your entire share of the inheritance, Mom's portion included. Full of hatred, I shouted back. If Mom knew you were throwing me out while treasuring the adopted daughter she wanted to send away, do you think she'd ever forgive you? Where is your diamond necklace? Tristan demanded. He ran his hands over my neck, searching. One of the men Esmeralda had hired spoke up, faking fear. He lied convincingly, adding details about how I had sold the necklace to pay for their time. Tristan slapped me again. How dare you sell the diamond necklace Mom gave you? I was planning to bring you home if you just owned up to your mistakes, but you've only gotten
Worse.
Tell me where you sold it. The accusation stunned me. I shoved Tristan aside and lunged at Esmeralda. What did you do with the diamond necklace? Tell me. You took my father, my brother, and my fiancé, and I let it go. But give me back the diamond necklace Mom left me. Give it back. Tristan grabbed a handful of my hair and threw me to the floor. You're in serious trouble, yet you still try to frame Esme. Esmeralda started sobbing softly. Tris, is Feli crazy? I was with Jace all last night. I haven't seen her at all. Then she turned to me, apologizing profusely. If Feli says I did it, then let's say I did. I'm willing to take the blame if it makes you feel better. But that diamond necklace is important, Feli. Please, just tell the truth about where you sold it. After that day, I was completely cast out. I didn't end up in the hospital until I collapsed from stomach pain and vomited blood. When I learned I had late-stage stomach cancer, I felt utterly hopeless. The television in my room was broadcasting Tristan's official announcement, stripping me of my inheritance. My father also went public, declaring that from now on, the Reed family had only one daughter, Esmeralda. I had no home. No, that wasn't right. I hadn't had a home since the day they brought Esmeralda back. Lacking the money for treatment, I thanked the kind doctor and walked out of the hospital. I knew my body would get weaker every day. There was nothing left for me in this city, anyway. I walked along the main road for a long time, then turned onto a smaller path, wandering. Eventually, I found this dilapidated house. It became my final shelter, a quiet place to hide from the wind and rain. There were mountains and water nearby. I didn't need much food, surviving on wild vegetables I dug up or fruit I scavenged. Perhaps because someone had lived here before, the electricity still worked. That was how the final days of my life were recorded. Watching me live such a quiet, difficult life, the viewers seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. They felt that, compared to the days of being framed and abused, I was finally living with some dignity. So, how did the diamond necklace actually go missing? It wasn't recorded. Who else could it be? It had to be Esmeralda. The fact that she told those male escorts to prove she took it.
Say that.
She is just evil. That poor woman. The day she found out her life was ending was the same day the culprit was celebrating her victory. Was she lucky or unlucky? She had no money, so her phone service was cut off. She couldn't go online, so she never knew how much money her brother wasted on her adopted sister later on. How is that not a good thing? Would you want her spending her final moments watching her idiot brother spoil the girl who ruined her life? She would have died full of regret. So how did she actually die? Tristan, who had stubbornly blamed me for everything, finally snapped. He lunged at Esmeralda, seizing her by the throat. Tell me where the diamond necklace is. I let your other little stunts slide, but why couldn't you leave Mom's diamond necklace alone? Jason rushed forward to pull him off. What the hell are you doing? We don't even know if these videos are real. Why are you being so rough with Esme? You investigated this years ago. How can you turn on her now? Tristan roared at Jason. You're an outsider, Jason. You have no right to lecture the Reed family on our private business. I haven't forgotten that you betrayed Feli for Esme. Are you helping her hurt Feli now, too? Jason let out an angry, bitter laugh. Me, hurt her? You're her own brother, and even you didn't give a damn, so why should I? If she hadn't mistreated Esme, I wouldn't have even spared her a glance. The two childhood friends argued ceaselessly. Then, Tristan's secretary called out. Mr. Reed, the team is in place. The experts have arrived. Seeing the professionals arrive, Caleb agreed to let them verify the phone's contents. But I have one condition. Her greatest wish was for the phone's contents to be revealed, so the truth could be seen. I want this final video played, and then everyone, including the livestream audience, will verify the footage together. The Reed family's people can watch, but no dirty tricks. Given the loyalty the Reed group has. Chances. Shown Esmeralda in the previous videos, I can't take any. Caleb had practically accused them of rigging it to their faces. The secretary quickly assured the camera, Mr. Reed says, we just want the truth. We won't try anything. Without delay, The final video began to play. Esmeralda stood over me, her face twisted in triumphant arrogance. Felicia, you didn't think I'd find you in a dump like this, did you? What do you want? I endured the agonizing pain, choking back the copper taste of blood in my mouth. I'm not in your way anymore. Why won't you let me go? I told you. Just you being alive is enough to make me hate you. I gave a self-deprecating smile and shook my head. I just want to know one thing. Where did you put Mom's diamond necklace? Well, how about you get on your knees and beg? Knock your head on the ground a few times. If I'm satisfied, I'll tell you. I said okay. I slammed my forehead against the ground, again and again. That was the one thing I wanted before I died. When I looked up, her high heels stomped onto
my face.
She pressed down hard, the heel piercing my cheek. Idiot. Even if you beg, I'm not telling you. She waved her hand, and 2 men entered, followed by a man in a black robe. Hurry up. I want her soul trapped here forever. No heaven nor hell, and no chance of rebirth. As a dagger pierced my skull, Esmeralda's so-called cousin walked in. I'll tell you a secret, she said. He's not my cousin, he's my lover. Once Jace and I marry, our child will inherit the Gill family fortune. Don't worry, I'll be sending your dad, brother, and fiancé to join you soon. She laughed viciously. I didn't know what method the robed man used, but I was forcibly bound to that place. I couldn't move on, couldn't leave. I couldn't even exit the room. If Caleb and the others hadn't arrived, I wouldn't have even known what day it was. I would have remained trapped in that daze. But their arrival miraculously broke the binding. No one expected the final video to be footage of my murder. It recorded the entire process. I had set it to auto, save every 2 hours. After they left, they deliberately destroyed the electrical box. So, before the phone and micro camera lost power, this became the final recording. Dead silence.
No one made a sound.
Even the live stream comments stopped for a long moment. Finally, Caleb started to speak, then sighed deeply. It seems this is a murder committed to steal someone's life. The team of technicians began their analysis. Their verdict was unanimous. These are unedited surveillance records. They are authentic. The chat went into another frenzy. So Esmeralda is a fake heiress living a lie. Felicia is so pitiful. They didn't even let her rest in death. How can someone be so vicious? I really want to know what Tristan and his father are thinking right now. I hope the Reed group goes bankrupt. If they had trusted Felicia even a little bit, it wouldn't have ended like this. Abandoning their biological daughter to treasure an adopted one, they can't be good people. Tristan, now being called a fool by the entire internet, immediately called for his bodyguards. Lock her up. Tristan looked at Jason grimly. She might already be pregnant with her lover's child, planning to kill you to seize your assets, and you're still pleading for her? Maybe it's all a misunderstanding, Tris. Jason clenched his fists. I don't believe Esme would do that. I will not let her get away with this. Tristan ordered his men to seize Esmeralda, but the police arrived and stopped them. They took Esmeralda away for interrogation. Tristan's father, Jeffrey Reed, wanted to plead for her, but the police officer dropped a bombshell. According to Esmeralda's confession, she has been putting slow-acting poison in the milk you and your son drink every night. I suggest you go to the hospital for a checkup. Also, she confessed to plotting with her lover to marry into the Gill family using their child, seize the Gill assets, and then kill you both to inherit the Reed family fortune. Jeffrey didn't want to believe it was true, but after he and Tristan went to the hospital, they fell into a stunned silence. I treated her so well, even Feli never got anything like that. What could she possibly want? That ungrateful wretch. Maybe this is retribution. Tristan said, his voice numb. If we had believed Feli back then and sent Esmeralda away as Mom wished, we wouldn't be here today. Jeffrey's poisoning was severe. Given his age, he didn't have long to live, even with early detection. Tristan's condition was mild, but thinking of how he helped Esmeralda humiliate and suppress his biological sister all those years, he lost his former drive. Whenever he went out, Everyone mocked him as the fool who pampered an ungrateful stranger while abusing his own sister. Even those who had participated in the bullying joined in. As for the diamond necklace, it turned out Esmeralda's lover had lost it at a casino. Tristan spent half his remaining fortune to buy it back. After Jeffrey passed away, both Tristan and Jason went bankrupt. Tristan lost his will to live and began scavenging through trash, mimicking the hard life I had lived. Jason tried to find a wealthy wife among the women who used to like him, but he was flatly rejected. They said they had no use for a stupid man who treated a murderer like a treasure. After my body was recovered, I was buried next to Mom. Her spirit stood beside me. "It's all my fault, baby. My momentary soft hard-headedness ruined your whole life. Mom, it's not on you. None of this is your fault." I smiled and held her hand, just like when I was little. Standing not far away, Caleb waved to us. "Time and fate may part you, but you will always return to each other as mother and daughter."